Hey! Why do we care about Spotify Wrapped? That is the big question. So in this video, I'm going to look at why we like Spotify Wrapped, why we care about it, and how it has been changing the way we listen to and consume music, and a little bit of a side note on physical listening in the 21st century. So first, let's talk about the backlash that Spotify Wrapped has gotten this year. To put it simply, people are not enjoying the changes they made. They think that it's lazy. They think that it's boring. It's AI generated. In December of 2023, right after the 2023 Wrapped came out, Spotify announced layoffs of around 1,500 people. And this is probably why this year's Spotify Wrapped is so underwhelming. They thought that they could replace these designers with AI, and that is not working out for them. The complaints around Spotify Wrapped this year circle around the fact that it's aesthetically displeasing. It doesn't look good. The graphics aren't great. If you remember last year's, they had like a genre sandwich. It was very creative. People are also not enjoying the fact that they left out a bunch of areas of statistics that they previously had, including music cities, playlist statistics, top genres, and listening auras. Also, let's talk about the AI-generated micro-genres. There is no use for that. If I go into a record store and say, I want Pink Pilates Princess music, they're gonna laugh me right out of here. What does that even mean? That's not gonna help me find new music at all. Moving on to why do we care? There's a wonderful article by Irrational Labs about behavioral science and why we really like looking at statistics of our music taste throughout the years. The main reason we care about Spotify Wrapped is the community aspect. You can share it, you can find people who are like you, who also had whoever on their Spotify Wrapped, and you guys can talk about the music that you like. Sharing your Wrapped is a big deal. I'll talk more about that later, but sharing to your Instagram stories to show what your top artists are, what your top songs are, what your amount of listening minutes was. Also, the statistic where it says that you're in the top 0.05% of listeners, that feels like a connection between you and the artist. This number is showing you how close you are to this music. It's setting off some competition as well, which I'll talk about in the next section. There's also a nostalgia aspect of Spotify Wrapped. They tell you, like, you listen to 220 minutes of music on this specific day. You listen to this song 60 times this day. It's like, what happened that day that made me do that? And then you can revisit your time with that song and revisit your time with the music that they're showing you and be like, oh yeah, that's why I was listening to that. And it's like a yearly recap, not just with music, but with memories. So Spotify gives you the tool to revisit those moments in your life. It comes at a time where you're doing a lot of reflection during the holidays and during the end of the year. Spotify helps feed into that. And to put it simply, personalization. We like learning about ourselves, especially in a quantitative measure. We like talking about what we like, and we like learning about what we like. That part is simple. For this part, I'll be talking about our perception of people's Wrapped and our perception of our own Wrapped. Now, Spotify Wrapped, it's seemingly authentic, but if you look deeper, it's not. It can be curated. And that makes me a little sad, because now we are acting in a performative way, even when we're by ourselves, because we know that at the end of the year, all of these songs that we were listening to throughout the months are going to show up, and we're going to want to share it. So we're not going to want to share something that might be seen as embarrassing or cringy. Spotify Wrapped is feeding into this surveillance culture that has started from TikTok and posting videos and anyone being able to post videos. Jordan Teresa made a video about surveillance culture, which I will leave a link to down below. It's about how people are self-regulating their behavior in public to protect their online image, just in case someone might be recording them. But I also think that this can apply to Spotify Wrapped. If the end goal is to share to your Instagram story and to put on a performance for your followers, then you might find yourself not listening to a certain song too many times because you're like, oh, I don't want this to be in my Spotify Wrapped. We are in a world where our fake social standing is numbers and statistics, and Spotify Wrapped feeds into our need to constantly compare ourselves to others. They put our listening minutes there just so that we can see how many more minutes we spend on Spotify listening to music than someone else. Sometimes I find myself rethinking listening to a song over and over and over again because I'm worried about what it's going to look like on my Spotify Wrapped, even when it's not even close to the release date. So the fact that we are thinking about the way that people are going to perceive our music taste when it's not even close to the time to share it is just a side effect of Spotify Wrapped changing the way we listen to music. And this is not just in Wrapped. This is in Spotify itself. The Spotify features are almost social media. There's blends, there's listening status, there's public playlists and followers. So Spotify is technically a social media, which is changing the way we listen to music because social media is inherently performative. So if we treat a streaming service as a streaming service, we're just going to listen to what we want. But if we treat a streaming service like a social media account, we're going to listen to things that we want people to associate us with, which is just sad to me. Listen to what you want. You don't have to make public playlists. You don't have to share your Spotify Wrapped. In this final part, I wanted to add a section about physical media. Because physical media is dying. In the age of streaming, physical media is way more difficult to get your hands on than it used to be. Obviously, because it's not your main source of content. Yeah, it's easy to log on to Spotify and just play whatever song you want whenever you want. But don't underestimate the power of physical media. Having your favorite albums to listen to in a more intentional way gives you a much deeper connection with the music. When I take the time to take out a record and put it on the record player, I took time out of my day to put this on and listen to it because I wanted to listen to it. And when you do that, you're going to appreciate the music even more because you made an action and you made an effort to listen to it. And getting to listen to music without knowing in the back of your mind that what you're doing is being kept track of is freeing. When I'm listening to music on Spotify and I'm thinking about the fact that they are keeping track of everything I do, it kind of freaks me out. And I start to listen to my music in a different way. But when I listen to it on physical media, I will rewind the CD player, I will pick up the needle and bring it back a little bit to listen to the song over and over again, and all I will think about is how much I enjoy the song. So my final thoughts are that if you want to listen to the Wonka soundtrack back to back for days on end, listen to what you want, when you want, however many times you want, and if you are embarrassed about that, you don't have to share your Spotify Wrapped. And finally, physical media is a friend. If you have the extra money to buy your favorite record, do it. It's nice to have like a physical representation of the music that you like, and actively listening to music is a really good way to find music that you really connect with. So that is all I have. I'm sorry my voice sounds like this. I am sick. Anyway, if you have thoughts that are different than mine, I would love to hear them. Check out those videos and articles that I talked about. They will all be in the description. And that's all I have. Bye!